Listen carefully, because there comes a moment in your life when you must decide where your help truly comes from. There is a mountain you must lift your eyes toward, a source higher than your struggle, stronger than your enemy, and wiser than your fear. Psalm 121 is not just a song. It is a declaration, a legal document from heaven, announcing that you are not unprotected, you are not uncovered, you are not alone. When God says, "I will keep you," He is not giving you comfort. He is issuing a command to creation itself. And today, if you dare to believe it, every force assigned to destroy you will bow to the keeper who watches over your life. There is a moment in every believer's life, a moment when you finally realize that protection is not something you pray for. It is something God has already established over you. And when the ancient writer lifted his eyes to the hills, he wasn't looking for comfort. He was looking for the commander, the one who stands watch, the one who governs the unseen, the one who has never surrendered a battle. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would your life look like if you truly believed that heaven is watching over you right now? Because the truth is this: you are never unguarded. You are never exposed. You are never standing in the open field of life without a covering. Psalm 121 reveals a God who does not outsource your protection. He doesn't assign your safety to chance or luck or human strength. He takes personal responsibility for you, personal ownership, personal oversight, and when God Himself becomes your keeper, what exactly do you think darkness can do with that? Imagine the weight of that promise. Imagine the security of knowing that the one who watches over you neither slumbers, nor sleeps, nor pauses, nor retreats. He is the God who stands watch. The world may shift, governments may shake, economies may tremble, but heaven does not have an off button. The one guarding your life does not blink. He does not get distracted. He does not get tired. He is alert, awake, active. A shield that never lowers. A guardian who never steps aside. A defender who never loses sight of you. And here is the powerful part. He stands watch not from beside you, but from above you. That means He sees what you cannot see. He detects what you cannot discern. He anticipates what you cannot predict. Before the enemy forms a weapon, heaven already knows its direction. Before trouble approaches your path, God has already stationed angels at the gate. Before fear whispers in your ear, His voice has already declared your victory. So the question becomes, if God is standing watch, why do we still live as though we are unguarded? Why do we allow fear to negotiate our peace? Why do we act as though darkness has the authority to touch what God has claimed as His own? Hear this: nothing reaches you without passing through Him first. Nothing approaches your life without being scanned, evaluated, and overridden by His will. You are not protected occasionally. You are protected continually. And yet, Psalm 121 reveals something even deeper, something that shifts the entire conversation from comfort to confidence, something that leads us into the next point with undeniable clarity. Because if God stands watch over you, then something extraordinary must happen within you. And that is where the real transformation begins. Let's go deeper. There comes a moment when God calls you to stop looking around and start looking up. Because as long as your eyes are fixed on the chaos around you, your faith will always shrink to the size of your surroundings. But the moment you lift your eyes, something shifts. Something awakens. Something inside you begins to remember that you were never designed to depend on the ground beneath your feet, but on the kingdom above your head. When the psalmist declared, "I will lift up my eyes to the hills," he wasn't admiring scenery. He was aligning his vision. He was choosing perspective over panic, focus over fear, clarity over confusion. And the question echoes even now. Where are your eyes? Are they locked onto the threats, the problems, the pressures that demand to be noticed? Or have you trained your vision to rise above the noise, the negativity, the limitations of this world? Because the kingdom promise of protection doesn't begin with your hands, it begins with your eyes. What you behold, you become sensitive to. What you focus on, you magnify. And when you lift your eyes toward God, you are declaring to every circumstance, you may surround me, but you do not define me. You are choosing the higher perspective, the higher authority, the higher source. And here is the mystery. You cannot claim the protection of heaven while focusing on the threats of earth. You cannot experience divine preservation while giving more attention to what is attacking you than to the one who defends you. Lifting your eyes is not a physical action, it is a spiritual position. It is the reset of your faith, the recalibration of your confidence, the realignment of your heart with the truth of who God is. And what happens the moment you lift your eyes? Help begins to flow. Strength begins to rise. Certainty begins to replace anxiety. Because now you are connected to the source that cannot fail, the source that does not weaken, the source that does not run out, break down, or change its mind. Lifting your eyes is heaven's invitation to step into divine preservation. It is the moment when you stop rehearsing what could go wrong and start declaring what God has already made right. It is the moment when fear loses its argument, when doubt loses its authority, when the enemy loses his leverage. Because how can darkness intimidate a person whose eyes are fixed on the light? How can evil overpower a life aligned with divine protection? But here is where the revelation grows even deeper. The moment you lift your eyes toward Him, you begin to recognize something extraordinary about Him. Something that will redefine how you see danger, how you confront fear, and how you interpret every attack that rises against you. Because the next point reveals a truth that changes everything. He never sleeps. And if He never sleeps, what does that mean for you? Have you ever stopped to consider that the God who watches over you does not rest, does not pause, does not take a break? Most people believe protection is conditional, that safety depends on timing, luck, or circumstance. But Psalm 121 shatters that illusion. It declares that the keeper of your life, the guardian of your destiny, never sleeps, ever, not for a moment, not when the night seems darkest, not when the storms rage fiercest. Think about that for a moment. The God who watches over your path is not distracted, not tired, not caught off guard. While the world around you slumbers, He remains vigilant. While enemies plot, He anticipates. While fear whispers in your ear, His voice resounds in authority. And the question must be asked, if He never sleeps, why are we living as though our lives are left to chance? Why are we still negotiating peace from a place of fear instead of confidence? Because when God never sleeps, every detail of your life is under divine surveillance. Every step you take is observed. Every choice is noted. Every danger is intercepted before it reaches you. There is no vulnerability. There is no surprise. There is no accident outside His notice. The heavens themselves become a security system, with eyes that see farther than the horizon, with hands that act faster than the enemy can plan. And here is the secret. Divine surveillance is not passive, it is active, it is intentional, it is personal. God does not simply watch, He intervenes. He adjusts the trajectory of circumstances. He neutralizes threats before they materialize. He surrounds your life with a shield that cannot be pierced by human hands or demonic schemes. And the peace that comes from this realization, oh, it cannot be bought, it cannot be fabricated, it cannot be earned. It is the gift of knowing that the Almighty is awake, alert, and in absolute control. Pause for a moment and reflect. If the God who governs the universe is watching over you, if he never sleeps, then why do you walk in anxiety? Why do you carry burdens that he has already lifted? Why do you worry about tomorrow when the one who never sleeps is already preparing it for you? It is a question that demands a response, a question that calls for action, a question that will change your very posture in life. But there is more. Psalm 121 does not only tell us that he never sleeps, it also implies that his attention is unbroken, undivided, and unwavering. Nothing escapes his notice. Nothing falls through the cracks. Nothing threatens the life he has promised to keep. And if his gaze is constant and his power unstoppable, then what must happen to the schemes of darkness that rise against you? Because the truth grows even deeper. The one who never sleeps is also the one who preserves. And when preservation meets vigilance, when protection meets omnipotence, what you are about to discover next will change how you see every challenge, every attack, and every trial in your life. The next revelation is powerful, unstoppable, and necessary. He preserves your soul. And what does that mean for your every step? Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be guarded by heaven? Most people think protection is about walls, locks, or human strategies. But Psalm 121 reveals a reality far greater than human understanding. It is not just a promise, it is a covenant, a binding, unbreakable, supernatural agreement that declares you will not fall, you will not fail, you will not be overtaken by evil. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. Heaven itself has made an arrangement for your safety. When the psalmist spoke of the Lord guarding your going out and your coming in, he wasn't speaking figuratively. He was declaring that every step of your life is under divine supervision. From the moment you rise to the moment you rest, your life is circled with protection that no human hand can provide, no weapon can breach, no evil can overcome. And the question arises, if heaven guards you, why are we still walking in fear? Why are we still anxious? Why are we still negotiating our peace? Because being guarded by heaven requires faith. It requires a decision to trust what you cannot see, to rely on what is spiritual rather than what is natural. Most people pray and then live as though they are unprotected, as though their prayers are optional shields. But this covenant is not optional. It is active. It is alive. It is present. And the one who guards you is not passive. He is strategic. He is intentional. He positions angels in ways that human eyes cannot perceive. He ordains paths that human reasoning cannot predict. He redirects danger before it arrives. Think about it. Your steps, your decisions, your future, your destiny, all are under the careful attention of heaven. And because this is a covenant, it cannot fail. It cannot be revoked. It cannot be nullified by human failure or demonic schemes. When heaven commits, it does not reconsider. When God decrees, it cannot be overturned. And that is freedom. That is confidence. That is power that surpasses understanding. But here is the deeper truth. This covenant of supernatural protection is not just for emergencies. It is not merely for times of attack. It is daily. It is constant. It is pervasive. It covers your going out and coming in, your rising and resting, your moments of joy and your moments of trial. And the reason this is significant The reason this changes everything is because it shifts your perspective from reaction to assurance, from panic to peace, from fear to faith. So the question becomes, if you are under this supernatural guard, why live defensively? Why walk as though danger is still in control? Why not step boldly into life, knowing every move is watched, every decision is protected, and every enemy thwarted before they can strike? And yet, there is more. Because the one who guards you is not only strategic, he is personal. He knows your name, he knows your path, he knows your heart. And what happens when personalization meets supernatural protection is the revelation that will lead us to the next point. Something even more profound, something unstoppable, something eternal. Because the God who guards you also keeps your life secure in ways the world cannot understand. Have you ever stopped to think that your life is not simply a collection of random events, but a divine narrative carefully supervised by the keeper of your life? Most people live as though survival is a matter of chance, as though protection is a game of luck. But Psalm 121 tells us something entirely different. It declares that your life is in the hands of one who is able, one who is faithful, one who cannot fail. Pause for a moment and let that truth sink deep into your spirit. Your life is not your own to manage. It is under the care of the ultimate guardian. The keeper of your life does not wait for emergencies to arise. He does not watch from a distance, passive or indifferent. No. He is actively involved in every detail, orchestrating circumstances, aligning encounters, and securing your path before you even step onto it. And here is the question that demands an honest answer. If your life is already guarded, why do you live with worry? Why do you live with fear? Why do you allow doubt to dictate your decisions? Because understanding the keeper of your life requires faith that goes beyond the natural. It requires a recognition that you are part of a divine plan, a purpose-driven journey, and a destiny that cannot be thwarted by human weakness or demonic schemes. Every moment of your life is under surveillance. Every step is under guidance. Every challenge is under control. Nothing reaches you without passing through the hands of the keeper first. And the peace that comes from this revelation, it cannot be overstated. It is security that transcends understanding, confidence that cannot be shaken, assurance that cannot be removed. And yet, most people miss it. They think protection is about avoiding trouble rather than trusting the one who holds their life. They measure safety by what they can see rather than what heaven has already established. But the keeper does not operate on what is visible. He operates on what is eternal, on what is spiritual, on what is divinely ordained. And the power of Psalm 121 lies not just in knowing he keeps you, but in living with the awareness that everything in your life is being preserved, directed, and perfected according to his will. So let me ask you, if the keeper of your life is active, vigilant, and personal, what does that mean for your every step? What does it mean for the paths you walk, the decisions you make, the challenges you face? It means you are not alone. It means you are not unprepared. It means that no evil, no accident, no plot, no plan can succeed against you. And when you truly embrace this, when you truly understand this, you begin to walk with boldness, with clarity, and with unshakable faith. But here is where the revelation deepens even further. The keeper of your life does more than guard your physical steps. He preserves your soul, your purpose, your destiny. And that is the doorway into the next point. A truth so powerful, it will forever change how you live, how you fight, and how you believe. Because when the keeper preserves your life, even the forces of darkness cannot touch the promise of your tomorrow. Have you ever asked yourself, why, despite the challenges, the attacks, the threats, Some people rise unharmed, unshaken, unstoppable. The answer is found in Psalm 121. It is not their strength. It is not their strategy. It is not their intelligence. It is the covering of the Almighty, the God who shields, protects, and preserves, the one who stands above, surrounding you with power that no human can replicate, no force of darkness can penetrate. Pause for a moment and consider this. What would your life look like if you truly believed that nothing could touch you without divine permission? Because here is the truth. The enemy does not win because he is stronger. He wins when we forget who stands over us. But when the Almighty covers you, when heaven itself becomes your defense, then evil becomes impotent. Attacks lose their edge. Schemes lose their strength. Fear loses its grip. And the remarkable thing is, this covering is not passive. It is active. It is intentional. It is relentless. The Lord watches over your coming and your going, over your now and your tomorrow, over every step, every decision, every moment of your life. Think about it. The one who never sleeps, the keeper of your life, the guardian who stands watch. He is not just observing, he is engaging. Every shadow that rises to harm you is met by light. Every scheme that plans to derail you is intercepted by divine authority. Every hand that rises to strike you is stopped by omnipotence. And the question becomes, if the Almighty covers you so completely, why live in fear? Why allow doubt to cloud your mind? Why surrender peace when you already possess protection beyond comprehension? Because the covering of God is not limited to physical safety. It is spiritual. It is emotional. It is relational. It is the assurance that your life, your purpose, your destiny cannot be destroyed. And when you begin to understand this, when it becomes part of your belief system, you stop negotiating with danger. You stop bargaining with fear. You stop letting circumstances dictate your peace. You begin to walk boldly because your every step is under divine surveillance, your every decision under divine guidance, your every move under divine protection. And this covering is not selective. It does not discriminate. It does not fail based on merit. It is constant, continuous, unshakable, unstoppable. The moment you align your life with the keeper, with the one who never sleeps, with the guardian who stands watch, the forces of darkness lose their power. And the beauty of it is, this is not temporary. This is not seasonal. This is eternal. So now hear this. The Almighty covers you, shields you, preserves you, guards your steps, watches over your life, and intervenes on your behalf. And when you grasp this truth fully, when you step into it, when you live under this divine covering, nothing, absolutely nothing, can prevail against you. Lift your eyes, fix your faith, trust the keeper, embrace the covering, walk boldly in your purpose, resist fear, and declare victory, because the God who protects you is greater than every threat, every trial, every enemy. You are not alone. You are not exposed. You are not defeated. You are shielded by heaven. You are preserved by the Almighty. You are unstoppable. You are victorious.